Witnesses say at least one gunman opened fire on worshippers at the mosques as they were gathering for Friday prayers. Well, one man in his 20s has been charged with murder.
Police are investigating reports that an attacker live-streamed their actions. New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has described the events as an extreme and unprecedented act of violence.
The 15th of March will now be forever a day etched in our collective memories. On a quiet Friday afternoon, a man stormed into a place of peaceful worship and took away the lives of 50 people. That quiet Friday afternoon has become our darkest of days. Mr. Speaker, we are a nation of 200 ethnicities, 160 languages. We open our doors to others and say welcome. And the only thing that must change after the events of Friday is that this same door must close on all of those who espouse hate and fear.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has issued a statement condemning the attacks. He writes, in part, "We extend our deepest condolences to the families and friends who lost loved ones in this senseless tragedy. Far too often, Muslims suffer unimaginable loss and pain in the places where they should feel safest. Canada remembers too well the sorrow we felt when a senseless attack on the Centre Culturel Islamique de Quebec in Sainte-Foy claimed the lives of many innocent people gathered in prayer. To move forward as a world, we need to recognize diversity as a source of strength and not a threat. Canada condemns this attack and will continue to work closely with New Zealand, our close partner and friend, and others to take action against violent extremism."
Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum and peace be upon you. My name is Shaukat Ali Khan and I'm here today to remember and honor my good friend named Rashid and his 21-year-old son Talha, along with others who lost their lives in a terrorist attack on Al-Nur Masjid in Christchurch, New Zealand in March 2019. I and Naeem were together in high school in a city called Abbottabad in Pakistan till 1985. The school where we went to is called Army Barnal College, Abbottabad, which was and is considered as one of the best schools. Like everybody else, me and Naeem stayed in touch on Facebook. And the day I heard about this incident, I sent him a quick message. Hey Naeem, hope all is well. Just saw the news on TV. Please respond, and never received any response back, which gave me a feeling that something is wrong. And later on, we saw all on the news what happened. If I remember Naeem, which melts my heart every time, along with all of other class fellows, Naeem from very early childhood in his life, in high school, was a very gentle, respectable and intelligent young man. He was looked upon as somebody who's upright, and he's looked upon somebody who's going to stand up for people if somebody's in trouble. And we always felt loved and cared for in his presence. This attitude of his also reflected at the age of 50 when he threw himself on the shooter, the gunman, so that the other worshippers in the mosque are not harmed, and accepted shahadat by giving his own life for the protection of others in the masjid at that time. Unfortunately, his 21-year-old son also got martyred, who was with him in the masjid at that time, along with other 31 people. And again, thank you all the organizers for arranging this Remembrance Day, and I hope by remembering Naeem, his good soul, his good nature, and his giving his life for the protection of others is going to be a milestone for peace for all the worshippers and Muslims and everybody else who are free to say their prayers and the way they want to spend their lives. And there would be eternal peace for all those people with the religious freedom. Thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate your time. God bless you all.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I pray that you all are well and healthy and keeping safe. It is an honor and a pleasure to be amongst distinguished guest speakers and attendees. My name is Fuad Abbasi, and I am the Director of Civic Engagement with the Muslim Association of Canada. Let me first begin by introducing the organization, that is the Muslim Association of Canada, which is a charitable organization and a grassroots social movement that provides spaces and services and programs for holistic education and personal development. MAC has a national reach in more than 13 cities across the country, with multiple numbers of masajids, mosques, and education center and schools, full-time and part-time. We are here to commemorate the lost lives of our dear brothers and sisters in New Zealand on March 15th, 2019, in Christchurch, New Zealand. It is with a heavy heart and sorrowful soul that we remember the lives that were lost on that day, where a gunman and I choose to join the Prime Minister of New Zealand in not naming that individual out of respect for the people that died, because one of the things that he wanted to do is get notoriety for the work or the heinous crime that he has committed, killing 51 people across 2 mosques. And not only that, when he was asked later on in his court deposition, he indicated that he wanted to do more than that. He wished that actually he had burned those mosques even further and created more casualties. This is very saddening and really hits home with all of us around the globe when you see such hate that it's fueled by none other than ignorance for thy neighbor. In his sentence hearing, he was confronted by survivors and relatives of the victims in the court. And one of them had stated the following: "You gave yourself the authority to take the souls of 51 innocent lives. Their only crime in your eyes is being Muslims," said Maysuna Salama, whose son Ata Al-Ayan was killed. This attack, as I said, sent shockwaves across the globe, and hate groups have only grown in influence and in followership. March 15th is now another reminder for all of us of the threat of the white supremacy movement and the far-right groups in Western nations. It is only just 2 months ago, actually, that we commemorated the memorial for the January 29th shooting here in Quebec City in Canada. And now more than ever, we have multiple priorities at hand that we need to look after when it comes to the government action to combat racism and hate against Muslims. Governments must address the rise of white supremacy and other far-right movements and designate hate groups as terrorist groups. And we'd like to thank the Canadian government for working diligently at calling out these groups as terrorist groups. And we thank Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his government for doing such a great job at calling them who they are. On behalf of MAC and the Muslim community, I want to thank the New Zealand Prime Minister and our Canadian government for their leadership and speaking against Islamophobia. We hope to honor those who have lost their lives, and we clearly state together across the globe that hatred has no place in the world, and we should not give hate groups any platforms to speak out of. Once again, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to partake in this memorial, and I thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
2 years ago today, the world was shocked by the hate and violence that so suddenly erupted at the Al-Nur Mosque and the Linwood Islamic Center in Christchurch, New Zealand. Over 50 innocent lives were taken away by a man with nothing but hatred, intolerance, and fear of others inside him. It was an act of terrorism and of murder in a sacred place of worship, a truly heinous and cowardly act. One that caught the attention of the world, and solemn condolences and pledges of support came flooding in from every corner of the globe. People here in Canada, in every province, reached out to show their solidarity with the people of Christchurch and the Muslim community. On this second anniversary of those attacks, we take the time to remember those who were forever impacted by the events of March the 15th, 2019, and also reaffirm our commitment to oppose hatred, racism, and violence in all forms. Together with compassion and understanding, we can fight for a better world and work to build a better British Columbia, free of intolerance and discrimination for future generations. To our friends in the Muslim community, we stand with you. not just on this solemn anniversary, but each and every day. Salam alaikum.